Wait, what?
I was saying, did you hear about what's going on with the Department of Education?
Oh, you're talking about how the Secretary of Education has been accused of being an accomplice in a cover-up of an interstate child abuse ring that has nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein?
What?
Oh, yeah, no, there's a second child abuse
Another
ring
one?
accusation.
Just like I've been saying that it's not just one. Everybody's involved in this kind of shit. And it's like, some of it's smaller, some of it's bigger, but it's everywhere and it's all different people. And there are different people involved all over the place doing the same shit or similar shit, sometimes different shit. That's just like, you know, you got a little bit of baby sacrifice over here. You got a little bit of orgies and cutting yourself and drinking blood over there. And then sometimes they overlap.
That's been floating out here against this White House and this current cabinet, but it has absolutely nothing to do with an island. It has everything to do with the Secretary of Education, her husband, and the company that she ran, where they used kids, many of them unhoused, as child labor, and then those kids were then abused very terribly by men who worked very closely with her and her husband, many of which were actually inside her inner circle. And then as this information came out, she and her husband, using their company's wealth, would then like try to pressure these kids and local media to make sure none of this was ever covered. Because also it was like the 80s and the 90s, so everyone was like, oh, that's kind of crazy. And there's like tapes about this and all this other different stuff.
Yeah, and it seems like it poured over into other industry in the Hollywood sphere, like Nickelodeon. And Disney, well, it kind of was already in Disney, but it got worse.
In fact, there was even a documentary that was released on Netflix about it last year because it's called The Ring Boy Scandal.
Wait, Matt Gaetz is not the head of the Department of Education.
No. Matt Gaetz is not the Secretary of Education. No,
Yeah.
but he has been accused of doing something very similar about taking an unhoused teenager across state lines and then paying them and then abusing them. Mm-hmm. That's a completely different person. They wanted him to be the Attorney General originally.
Okay.
But he didn't get the job.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but the Secretary of Education we currently have right now, Linda McMahon, she did get the job. And most people found out about this in the documentary about her husband, Vince McMahon, and the company that they have.
Yeah, it's just degeneracy all around at the WWE. Throughout history, WWF is all degeneracy. Everybody knows the stories. Just look it up.
Is the WWE, which is now called TKO, which is currently being sued in the state of Maryland because Maryland doesn't have a statute of limitations. So there's no time out on being abused as a child there.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yeah. Because this is all stuff that everyone knows that's happened, but nobody ever seems to cover.
This wasn't what I was talking about.
What were you talking about?
I was talking about how they're changing like the way that we characterize certain jobs when it comes to student loans and all this other stuff. And
oh no, you're talking about how they were taking the way that anyone who has a title that is a mandatory reporter for the abuse of children are no longer being
I can't handle more.
considered professional. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I'm sure that has nothing to do with anything. And also it's weird again that this has absolutely nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. It's just a totally separate child abuse scandal that happens to deal directly with the person who's in charge of America's children.
Huh.
Wait, what?
I was saying.
How about that?
If you don't like it, you can go to